All right, back again.
Back again.
Lady, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Long day. Super long
Mm-hmm.
day,
Mm-hmm.
but excited.
Same.
And it was a pretty fun day today. Uh Lots of stuff happening in the CrossFit space. Lots of
Definitely.
yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of conversations that
Yes.
come out of this very shortly.
I agree.
So, but we were talking about something a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I've always agreed on, like I've always agreed with you on, um, mostly just because I've seen it too, just in all sports, not just CrossFit, just
Mm-hmm.
everything. Um, and yeah, let's do it. What do you want to ask me?
Break it down. What do I
Yeah,
want to
let's
ask you?
go.
You're like, go
Let's
ahead,
get
ask
it.
me
Let's
questions.
go.
Well, I think for like part of our conversation tonight, maybe it would be good to provide some context for how it came up, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't the first
Also
time it's come
to
up.
explain, well, and explain the L4 too. Like,
Uh,
I mean, for most people, especially for me, I understand all the way up to the L2. After
yeah.
that, it becomes
I mean, the L3 is the CrossFit certified coach, and then the certified trainer, and then the L4 is the certified coach.
okay.
So the L4 is just it's the highest level of coaching within CrossFit
Okay.
is what it is.
So like when you get your L4, you're basically considered the best coach ever. Like that's
Yes. What's outside?
girl.
Yes, I suppose.
Yeah, that you're the coach that everybody wants to go to. You can say that, and that puts you in a bigger space than like an L2 coach or an L1
Oh,
coach.
sure, sure.
Gives you bragging rights if you
Yeah.
want to go there.
Yeah, I'd say that's what you get, yeah.
And so, go ahead. Go ahead. Listen, it's your show as much as it's my show. You want to fill in the context?
My
Like,
show. This is Athena's show tonight. Okay.
yeah, it's Athena show. Let's go.
Uh, so, um, it's not the first time it's come up. I've seen it come up a lot. In fact, Morning Chalk Up did a story on it, um, about 2 years ago, and I can't remember the title of the article. I think it was, what do you have to look like to be a coach? And I remember the first time that it really kind of became a conversation topic was with that article, and the comments on this article were explosive. Some of the most explosive comments I have ever seen. Like, I was not prepared for
Wait,
this.
this morning chalk up article was recent or it
It
was
was about 2 years ago. I think is
okay.
when, like, it kind of came to, like, the surface, and, like, people were starting to talk about it. And so it's been around for a while. This isn't the first time it's come up, but I think I heard it today, out on Seb's podcast, where they were talking about, one of the, L4s. She happens to be a larger body, and or rather like, she calls herself a larger body. And sorry about them.
No, go
Good
ahead. Believe
grief.
me, I got a kid that's gonna come want things
I
shortly.
should have put him downstairs. So, she yeah, she went and got her level 4, and the conversation was, should she, should she call herself a level 4, being the size that she is? And I still, like, I'm listening to this and I'm watching the conversation, and I'm still having trouble wrapping my head around a conversation that would be anything other than, well, of course, why not?
That was that when he pulled up the video of, or when Sev pulled up the video of, it was a CrossFit gym. What was it? 845? Was
Oof.
that?
Yeah. But I don't think that that was related, was it?
I'm not sure. But I just, yeah,
I
I
think it
don't
was
know.
happening during the same
Yeah, during
time
the
that that
same
video was
conversation.
being showed, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, I mean, and we've talked about this, it's funny, coaches, when have we ever had, like, standards to, or just visual standards to what coaches are supposed to look like? We've never had that.
Wow. They
Not
they
not
say
in the
we
past.
haven't. I think that there's been I think that historically in CrossFit, there's definitely been some unwritten rules with coaches. I know that, a couple people had reached out to me a couple years ago and said that they were, that they wanted to be seminar staff, for instance, but they were on, and I'm trying to remember the word that they called it. I don't want to mess it up, so hold on. They were on, like, it was
No,
like a nutritional probation. And
that sounds bad anyway.
yeah, one of them, she was, well, we'll leave out what country she was from, but she was put on, like, this probation. She was told that she, um, needed to work on her physique,
Okay.
and that was what was told to her, her physical physique, and so she wasn't gonna be able to, and I don't know, I don't know all the ins and outs of getting on seminar staff, or how long they're interning or whatever. But anyway, she was put on this, for lack of better terminology, physique.
So seminar staff means what? Like you're coaching coaches,
Yeah,
teaching coaches how to be coaches?
right.
Okay.
So yeah, so she was put on some kind of probation and told that she needed to work on her nutrition and her physique. So, and then she couldn't get a muscle up. And I think that there's always been, I don't know if it was a rule, but it's definitely well known that if you couldn't get there were certain things that you had to do to be part of that team.
Well, that sucks because is muscle up one of them? Because that was one that I could do, but I was scared of doing because I always visualized myself flipping over the bar. Like,
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know. I don't know what the rule was. I mean, I'm
hmm,
hoping that something silly like that doesn't exist anymore, but it certainly did at the time.
okay.
So, I think what's heard definitely in the community a lot is, what is this, what should a coach look like? Should somebody, and I don't think, honestly, I don't think that it's limited to seminar staff. I mean, this is really any coach. This has been an ongoing conversation. I don't think it would have mattered whether she was a level 2 or a level 3. The conversation really has been like, hey, if you're a CrossFit coach, it is expected that you be this physical representation of, you
Yeah, I
know
think that's everywhere.
yeah, I think right, right,
It's
right.
it's absolutely everywhere. I absolutely remember it being in Globo gyms,
Mhm.
and if you didn't present yourself in a certain way to be a trainer,
Right.
then they wouldn't hire you.
Correct.
I remember even just, growing up playing sports and having friends and whatever, parents would lose their freaking minds if, their coaches were larger bodied,
Mhm.
and wouldn't play their kids. They're like,
Right,
"Hey, you can't even run to the mailbox. Why are you telling me that my kid can't play?"
right.
It didn't it was everywhere, definitely in the late '90s.
Mhm. That's
That
what I'm saying, like, this is not a new conversation.
Yeah.
It's been around forever.
Well, I noticed it in CrossFit, uh, what, probably a year or 2 ago. you could just if you watched any of the games broadcasted on YouTube or broadcasted where there could be live comments,
Mhm.
the comments were awful. If there was a judge that was overweight, if there was anybody
Mhm.
representing CrossFit wearing a CrossFit media shirt, wearing a CrossFit, judge's shirt, wearing a staff shirt, like if you were wearing those shirts and you were larger bodied or considered not it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like the comments were ruthless.
Yeah, they always have been. Yeah.
And
Um,
for me, it just the way that I joined CrossFit and the way that CrossFit has always represented itself to me,
mhm.
we're supposed to be helping larger body people, right? We're supposed to be inviting a family, friends, we're a unit, we move together. It's military style. Don't leave someone behind. And even the verbiage where you root for the last person who's finishing a workout, all of a sudden it's become you're supposed to feel bad because you are the last person finishing a workout. But it didn't used to be that way, right?
No, not when I started, although
Not when I did.
I mean, I I think it just depends on, what environment you come up in CrossFit in. Like my environment, my first introduction to CrossFit was amazing.
Yeah.
I had a great box. It wasn't until I left that box that I started seeing, oh shit, like, they're not all the same as much as we would like to say. Well, they're not. I mean, it's the beauty and the curse of CrossFit is that they're all a little different. And there's nothing wrong with CrossFit boxes being different.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about. But there should be some consistency across the board as to what CrossFit is for all of us and what it should be for everybody, not just larger body people, but for anybody.
And it is interesting too. What do I have to look like to be a coach? Do I what do I have to look like to be a judge? What do I have to look like to do I you know, do I have to have do I have to have a six pack to tell you that you're squatting below parallel in an air squat?
In terms
That
of like, yeah, like, let's yeah, let's break this apart. I mean, let's talk
let's
about
go.
judges. Yeah, let's do it. Um, yeah, like, what would my size have anything to do with the fact that, I have 2 eyes, I can see. The
Yep.
whole point is to watch you and determine whether you made the movement or not. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what part of our methodology requires that not only do I need to watch you to record your score, but somehow, for some reason, I also need to be a certain size to do that. I mean, just the logic is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I I what we talked about this before, and even professional athletes, right? So if you're gonna and take CrossFit, we don't even have to go in. We can go into other sports if you would like,
Yeah.
but even just take CrossFit. How many CrossFit Games athletes are coached by CrossFit Games athlete? Not many, and the ones that are right now
Very few.
are just being coached by people that just stopped going to the games.
Well, let's look at the comments though. And I hate, sorry, I strongly dislike making assumptions, but I don't like that word. It's so strong.
Yeah.
I dislike making assumptions, but let's take, if we just look at the comments, I think one of them today was, why should, again, I don't want to mess it up. So I hope I don't mess up the comment, but it was something along the lines of, why would I want this person judging me if, they look like this?
Right.
Are we really talking about the same thing? I don't think we are. Like they're taking it like, that person's out there judging me. No, you're being watched to see if you meet
If you
movement
did the
standards.
movement
Like,
standard,
the
yeah.
person isn't out there judging you. Are you judging them? You know what I mean? Like, this is so dumb. I can't even believe it's a conversation, but
Well, I mean,
they're
and
recording your score.
yeah, it literally that's the same thing. Do I need a six pack to see if you're squatting below parallel?
Yeah,
Do I need a
no.
six pack to see if your chin is going over the pull-up bar? It's what we're not doing this anywhere else. You know
Mm-mm.
what I mean? You can take whatever. Most of the coaches in the NBA never played professional basketball and never will. They never even played like high level college basketball for the most part. There's a couple that you can go with, but
I
it
mean,
it
the requirements of a coach are to what? Motivate, see, correct, right?
yep,
All of these things anybody could do.
yeah,
There's no like physical requirement. Now, again, I think we're conflating multiple issues. If they say if it's believed that a coach should be an example, I get where they're coming from. Okay, I can see that. I'll play along. But my question would be like, what is the magic number?
right.
What's the magic number?
The magic
Okay, fine.
number
If I'm going to entertain this idea,
the magic number of what though?
so, well, exactly. They're like, well, a coach should be a walking example of our methodology. That's some of the logic that I saw today. Okay, well, what does that look like? What should be the weight standard for a male coach, and what should be the weight standard for a female coach? I mean, are we going to get that granular? Because that's what they're saying.
Well, let's go. I'm 6 foot 188. I pretty much have a muffin top for the most part. Depends on how bloated I am that day, how much water I had, how much water I didn't have.
Did you shit?
Right. Did I go to the bathroom today before I got on the scale? Also, did
That's
I
fair. That's
lift
fair.
today? Because if I lifted today, my back and my biceps and my chest look like my upper body's pumped. I'm ready to go. So I can look amazing if I do a couple push-ups and a couple pull-ups before I get in the screen. Um where we like I could do a couple squats, bring out my quads. I don't know. I mean,
I
not
mean, is this really relevant though? One of the things I see on every single coach's Instagram at one point and another says nobody's looking at you. So if that's really the truth, why would I give a shit?
we wouldn't except for the fact that they're wrong and they are looking at us.
Well,
They are looking
well,
at us.
then we would have to admit that that's a lie.
They judge us all the time, no matter where we are, man, woman. The comments aren't just like towards women. They're also the comments are towards the men that are larger bodied.
Totally.
So you get judged all the time. I remember the first time that when I was on the podcast and it was me and my friends in the deli, and one of the first comments made was, "Those don't look like CrossFitters."
Yep.
No, I don't.
I've heard that a few times.
So yeah, I mean, where are we going? And it's
Um,
and how did you? But let's go back to the level 4 because that's where we started. How did you get your level 4? Were you supposed to be getting your level 4?
uh, I I'm studying for my level 3.
Okay.
I don't know that I have a strong interest in getting my level 4 for a lot of reasons.
Okay.
I'm just not sure I'm not sure what the value add is for what I'm doing. I mean, yes, I would have bragging rights, but it for me, it needs to be way more than that.
Is it worth it? Is it worth the bragging rights?
I mean, in terms of like for me doing what I'm doing, like in our seminar, does me being an L4 help me in the kind of seminar that we're doing? I can't say that it does. So, but I believe in the education. I believe in, I'm a humongous fan of leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. But the difference between an L3 and an L4, I have yet to have somebody, be able to articulate to me what is the difference between the two other than,
Well, I know we did want to talk about, we touched on it a little bit, but just if we want to go by CrossFit's logic, right?
Mhm.
Or whatever the number is, like my wife wouldn't be able to coach you. But we'll go with my wife because I have a muffin top. So,
Okay.
my wife wouldn't be able to coach you because she doesn't understand, right, what it's like to be a larger body. So if
Is that what they're
CrossFit,
saying?
if
Well, let's go back to what they're saying.
right,
If the
so
community is the community saying, hey, you can't coach because I don't understand a smaller body person? Is that really what they're saying, though? No, they're saying I shouldn't be able to coach because I'm not a physical representation of what a coach
yes.
should be, is what they're saying. Hmm.
Yeah, so who do you listen to? Who
Me?
Yeah, who do you get coached by? Who coaches you? Who coaches the people that you represent, the people that need you, the people that are just trying to, I don't
Yeah.
know, have a regular.
Yeah. Do we say that all of these people who haven't had those same struggles, could we use the same logic in reverse? Like, could you coach them because you don't understand them? Or you're not a physical representation of what may appeal to them? I don't know. It's just weird logic.
So I'm not well, no, not me because I'm not. But let's go. Um, shoot, I'll say it. I don't care.
Okay.
Let's go. Max Al-Haj, right? One of the most prominent coaches in CrossFit. Uh, Everybody wants training think tank. Love it. Love him. Love the whole thing. He's never been a CrossFit Games athlete. He's never been a CrossFit Games
Mhm.
champion,
Right.
but he wants to coach CrossFit Games champions and
Right.
CrossFit Games
So
athletes.
the logic would be he doesn't belong coaching those games athletes because he's not a games athlete. And
Right.
in order to coach games athlete, you need to be a physical representation of
Games athletes.
games athletes. I mean, that would be the same logic, right? So
Yeah.
that
So
would
I would
mean
say
that
his six pack isn't enough to
it's
be
not
able to
enough,
coach
right?
Noah Olson.
Right, because if he's never been to the games, he wouldn't understand, and therefore he has no right to be there.
Right.
That's the same logic.
Right. Yeah. So
Sounds reasonable.
nobody who doesn't, so then the logic would be nobody who, like, if you're not a larger body,
Mhm.
you're not allowed to coach larger body athletes because you have no idea what it's like to be a larger body athlete.
I
You have
suppose not, yeah. No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying I shouldn't be a coach at all.
so none of us can be coaches.
Oh, I'm like,
I meant that to go in the private chat. My bad.
the logic
mean-
is that person doesn't belong as a coach at all. I don't the way that I've heard it, I mean, yes, the level 4 was a topic today, but I don't know that it really makes any difference whether that person is an L2 coach or whether that person's an L4. Like the difference is is definitely not time. It would be, somebody's ability to coach, period.
How much time have you spent being a larger body?
My whole life. like
How much
practically
time have you
since birth.
studied being a larger body?
We'll define study, but my whole life.
I mean, or just getting to
The ins and outs,
Yeah.
all the shit, all like my entire life.
So the fact when you have a CrossFit gym and
Mhm.
you're trying to reach people that really need the help, and you're trying to reach people that really need the mental, the physical, the scaling, all those things,
Right.
who knows it any better?
I I think in this example, I think that there's an underlying assumption that every larger bodied person will find your stereotypical, is that even right? Is that even correct?
Sure. Yeah.
Your stereotypical CrossFit coach relatable, and they don't. Or that somehow they would find that physique inspiring. They don't always. That can be very scary because it's hard for somebody that hasn't lived any other life to see themselves any other way. That just comes with time, right? And time and momentum and all the good things that come with it. But somebody that comes into CrossFit that, has several hundred pounds to lose, for instance, could be very, very intimidated by somebody that looks like Noah.
Right.
No,
Not
it
picking
wasn't.
on Noah at all. Noah, you look
No,
amazing.
that was amazing.
But yeah.
He looks, yeah. Yeah, I was like, he looks amazing.
Yeah, he does.
No, what I'm saying is, like, for instance, I picked my first coach because he was a games athlete, but not because of the way he looked. It had nothing to do with the way that he looked. It had everything to do with the fact that, we're talking about 1%.
Yeah.
For the games athletes, right? 1% will
Of
make
the
it to the game.
1%.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Will make it to the CrossFit Games. Well, for somebody like me in CrossFit, the odds are about the same. Somebody that has hundreds of pounds to lose has a 1 to 3% chance of successfully getting all that weight off and living a healthy life. So we're talking about the same odds. So I figured, he hasn't lived in a larger body, but he certainly would understand what it felt like to eat a whale. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
you have to climb Mount Everest. So at least he would understand that part of it. That's what we had in common.
So
Does that make sense?
technically it's technically it's as hard for somebody with 100 pounds to lose that 100 pounds as it is
I wouldn't even
for
say hard. I would say realistic.
realistically.
Yeah. You have about the same odds of going to the games as you would. Yes.
I mean, boom.
However, somebody like me is unqualified to teach somebody else how to successfully come in and make this a lifestyle. But I think that there's also this assumption that this shit happens in one fucking day. Like, you walk into CrossFit and like suddenly you're a larger body and boom, like, here's a before and here's an after and everything is
fair
wonderful.
because
It doesn't
people
work
walk
like
into
that.
CrossFit all the time and think they're going to the games.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
So, I mean,
I've never thought that, but I suppose I could believe that.
They're like, hey, catch me up on Toast Bar and my squat's great and my run's great. Like they do it. You see that in the box all the time.
Sure.
I'm guilty of it. and not
Mhm.
going to the games, but like I want to have 20 unbroken toes to bar today. My back is strong. Girl, it has nothing to do with your back. Like there's so many other things that have to go into that to get that.
Right.
I didn't know that. I had to go in there and fail for freaking 5 years, and my greatest ever set of toes to bar was 8. Like it's not life, man.
Mm-mm.
And I think that's you've said it to me a bunch. I I take it with me in most aspects is you don't know where and I love it too. It was said today too. You don't know where somebody is in their journey on something.
You don't. You
And
don't.
to
But at the same time, when does somebody, again, we're going to go back to this because this is the issue. This is the fundamental issue of what this is all about. At what point does that person get to say, this is a part of my life and it will be a part of my life forever? We're still going to make it about what that person looks like physically. Like they're going to have to get to some point where they prove their commitment to the methodology. What does that look like?
yeah. Yeah,
If I'm
fair.
saying I'm committed to this methodology, what does that look like? Does that mean that in order for me to say that and for people to believe that I need to be a specific size when I do that?
So then I would ask very much so. I've asked it multiple different ways, but I'll put it out there just in a CrossFit way.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a couple of muscle ups. They scared the crap out of me because I'm scared to like fly over the top of the bar. So I don't want to do them. I
Okay.
will do anything else but those because I'm afraid of them. I don't want to do it.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being the CrossFit athlete that doesn't do muscle ups. I'm okay with being the CrossFit athlete that doesn't want to carry the yoke because whatever. I just don't want to. Like I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm okay with myself and my athletic ability the way that it is. But my body might not reflect what people think it should reflect for what I'm capable of doing.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Like I might just be
Okay.
like, "Hey, I'm good. I'm good right here. I'm good at this weight. I don't have a six pack." I mean,
And I guess that's the
I can flex like one ab.
that's the slippery slope that we're going to get into. If somebody that happens to be a larger body gets to a weight where it's comfortable for them, again, we don't know where they came from, right? Like,
Right.
God forbid, what if they came from 500 pounds and they get down to 225 and they're like, this is amazing and I feel wonderful.
And I move well, my knees don't hurt. Whatever it is.
Whatever,
Yeah.
right? They could be whatever size they wanted to,
Yeah.
but for some reason, that's still not going to cut the mustard when it comes to, well, that person can't coach. That person doesn't qualify
No,
to
it
be.
absolutely doesn't cut the mustard. Because once I did that, once I said that and I was like, I'm okay with being the athlete that I'm comfortable being, then I wasn't invited into the fun, like upper echelon CrossFit group. Like I wasn't invited to the, you
Well,
know,
then you start hearing stuff that we saw in the comments today. Then you start seeing stuff like, okay, well, how can a person that's larger body be content with being where they're at? Well, I think that this could go in a million different ways. We could say this like, one, we don't know where they came from. What
right.
if they came from 500 pounds? Who cares if it's comfortable for them and they're happy where they're at? Why do we care? But at the same time, I also am a huge fan of you can wake up in the morning and not have to, curse yourself out in front of the mirror and call yourself all these obscenities and be like, okay, I'm at peace where I'm at today. That doesn't mean I'm consenting to being okay with where I currently am. It means I allow myself to be at peace with where I'm at. I'm happy with where I'm at, but I'm still open to being the best version of myself. I
So
think, can you be a good coach and still be a work in progress at the same time? Can you be, that's one. Can you be a larger body and a good coach and just happen to be a larger body and a great coach?
So what I hear you asking is, can you be okay? Can you wake up in the morning, look at yourself, see yourself in the mirror, be very content with where you are in the process
Yeah.
of what you're trying to do, and still go out there and do your thing? The only
Yeah.
problem is that other people are telling you, no, this isn't good enough yet. You have more to do before this is good enough.
Correct. Yeah.
That's what I hear. And that's disappointing.
Um, yeah. I mean, people say that to me all the time. Now, I've never said, like, for me, I've never said, I'm not, well, let me see. Let me be careful how I phrase this.
You don't have to be careful here, girl. Nobody like it, you're good.
I think that, like I can be, I can know where I came from and know where I was the day I started and commit to the methodology and commit to everything that CrossFit is, but also understand simultaneously. I can also be a great coach, but also understand this isn't a one day thing. They keep calling this a lifestyle. This isn't like it's not a before and after picture. It's a lifestyle. It'll be forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're never going to be done. Nobody is ever finished. What does that look like? What does that even mean?
Well, with anything, it's always you're making choices every day. It's
Every day.
small and large and medium choices every day that you have to make. And in order to get there, you have to be okay with sometimes like, hey, today I didn't make a great choice. It's okay. I'm not a horrible person because I didn't make a great choice today, or I missed a little choice that I was going to make, but if you tell somebody that they're not good enough because they didn't make all of the right choices in a single day, you're destroying them. They're never going to make it.
Well, define make it.
They're just going to be like, well, my thought about it is they're just going to be like, well, screw it. If I'm just getting told that I'm not doing the right thing every day, then screw it. I'm just not going to do the right thing.
And that happens.
You know what I mean?
And that happens.
So,
but that can happen. You're on a journey like this. I mean, certainly for a lot of us where, yeah, like hundreds of pounds is no joke. And I know for me, like it has been so, I thought it was just going to be this meow and I would be done and everything was going to be great and wonderful. And that is not how this is shaken out at all. Like it has been really, but if I look at where I was 6 years ago, we're still massively ahead and that's still okay. Yeah. But according to some of this community, which is mind-boggling, like, no, Athena, you haven't earned the right to call yourself a coach.
And
okay,
I would call it a beatdown. Like I definitely would call it a beatdown. I just don't. For me, it's so hard to think about just because of like, again, for the multiple 100th time, the way that I was brought into it. We were brought into CrossFit in such a loving, I was also trying to lose weight. I was also like 100 pounds overweight, or no, it's like 60 pounds overweight at the time. And I was trying to come down from that. And just the embrace that I got at the time and the, like,
Mhm.
loving, unconditional, "Hey, you can do this, you'll get this, let's go, what do you wanna
Yeah,
do? Do you wanna work on it today? Not today? Okay, cool, not today, maybe tomorrow, that's fine." Like, they met me where I was at,
right.
and for some reason, it doesn't feel like that anymore.
I I mean, there's definitely been some culture shifts, I think. But I mean, lots been going on the last couple of years, so
Yeah,
yeah.
well, just in the world in
I
general.
mean,
CrossFit, yes, but also the
I mean,
entire world.
CrossFit's not immune to all this crap
No.
going on, but um,
And people aren't either. People are gonna be frustrated. People are gonna be they're gonna be scared. They're gonna be worried. They're gonna be, "Hey, what's happening? Hey, is all the fun that I've been having, like, pre-2020, is that going away? Oh my god, it might be going away." Yeah, I mean, we're people. We're just people trying to be entertained, people trying to find something to do, like, so we mess up sometimes, people mess up sometimes, but it's a little messy right now.
yeah. I think this is like one of those topics where I don't know.
How often Let me ask you this, how
uh,
often when you are having, like, a good day and you're like, "Hey, I'm doing this, I'm having a good day," and whatever, does it happen where there's something in there that just beats you up that day, where people wanna find a reason to beat you up that day?
How often does that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, shit. I don't know. Maybe 2, 3 times a week.
Where you really see something and you're like, "Oh, oof."
Um, no. No. I mean, if I don't like something, I'm like,
Yeah, whatever, you can scroll past it, scroll up.
whatever. I'm talking about for me it would be more like somebody sent me a DM or somebody saw something and they're like, Athena, I can't believe that you would agree with this or rah rah rah. And I say rah rah rah, but I mean, it's usually like fucking terrible. Like really? Or I don't know, I could be out like at a grocery store or somebody will say something under their breath. I mean, it still happens all the time. Or I could go to another CrossFit gym. I've been doing a lot of drop-ins lately, looking at just other gyms and having a good time. And um, somebody will be like, "Oh, today's your first day in CrossFit." I'm like, "No,
Oh
no,
god.
definitely not." And like I try so hard not to let that bother me because I mean I get it, but like it's definitely something that gets brought up every time. It
I
could just be like maybe it's a safe assumption because they haven't seen me before. So they're like, oh, they're assuming it's my first day. But those kind of assumptions happen all the time.
I mean, yeah, that would I mean, I have different experiences with stuff like that, but something like that would blow me up, you know what I mean? If I it
Like, yeah, like
it
blow you up like you're gonna get. I
Yeah,
mean,
like, listen, I can feel my blood pressure and, like, I I physically get hot, pause, but, um, it yeah, it's it's so hard, because on the inside, we know that we're doing things, we're working on things, we're, just trying to just walk through life just regular, and
and
people just can't be regular.
I think that's why that caller today said what he said. Like it's stuff like that that'll happen that is what can push people away. I'm not saying that's an excuse. I'm saying You're out there busting your ass, and then some fool comes along and says something really thoughtless, not realizing like where you came from.
But also, they don't know how many times you've heard it per day. It's like
Well,
this.
I mean, it could be that. It could be
This is not a new comment that
no.
you're coming up with. This is not a new, like, whatever your advice is for me for
Sure.
today is not new advice that I've never heard in my entire life. However you think you're helping at the time, you know what I mean? I'm not 12. This isn't a new conversation that we're having
Right.
or that I've ever had. And
Right.
for some reason, they think that
Oh,
it's
people are
appropriate.
massively helpful, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're so helpful.
But either way, what do you the conversation we were having, the double standard is what struck me the most. And I think it's I also wanted to ask you if you wanted to go into how much you want to go into the t-shirt thing. If you want to go into that at all.
T-shirt thing. Tell me
If
more
they
about.
wanted to make t-shirts, you asked for t-shirts a little bit.
Oh. Well, I mean,
I think that's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But
that all depends on which direction we go, because the t-shirt thing was so multifaceted.
you take it any way you
Now,
want.
are we talking about like CrossFit HQ? Are we talking about Noble? Are we talking about who are we talking about?
Which one do you want to go down that you can talk about?
I mean, I honestly could give a rat's butt.
Okay,
Any
then
of it.
let's
I'm
go.
like, I can talk
Listen.
about whatever I want.
All right, there you go.
Well, I think this kind of goes hand in hand to kind of what we were talking about earlier. You know, like no, I don't think that there's been like any documented, like, hey, this is what we expect out of, you know, level 3, level 4s. But there was definitely, you know, like when I started this, I don't know, call it a campaign, whatever you want to do, to see if we could get, you know, like the extended sizes into CrossFit. The intent was so that people felt supported from day one. The pushback that I was getting from HQ at the time, and they were like, well, one of the people that was in the room that day was like, well, you know, we don't want to send the wrong message. Like, what does that mean? Like, we don't want to meet people where they're at. Like, God forbid, should we not want to meet people where they're at? Because that would be fucking terrible.
Yep.
But it seems so contradictory to what they were saying. But again, I think that gets tied back to some of that, what are we going to call this, belief system about, you know.
Yeah, I can get with that.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to frame
For
this
lack
up.
of a better one. But I mean, no, it's not a bad. Yeah, yeah.
The pushback was, you know, like, hey, these are the sizes that we have, you know, let's use it as an incentive. And all I was trying to say was that it's not. That's the problem. It's not an incentive. Because essentially what you're saying without saying it is that you will be accepted and you'll get to be part of this group as soon as you perform.
That to me just sounds like exactly what we've been talking about
exactly,
today.
which
Right.
was the same thing. It's the same concept over and over, just manifesting in different things. This just happened to manifest in the shirts.
So
But it
maybe
was
like,
the
hey,
same
if you
type
can
of,
fit into a size large,
right.
then that's the right body type for you to be able to, I don't know.
Well, no, it was more like you should you know, like Athena, all these people should want to, like, I already have a CrossFit shirt. I had one. I've always had one. I had my level 1. So it wasn't like I couldn't fit into a fucking CrossFit shirt. It was all of these other people that didn't have one. And the compromise was, okay, you know, like, can we at least make sure that everybody that goes and takes the level 1, can they get a shirt? Can we do extended sizes? Like, try to find a fucking way that we could compromise and say, okay, fine. If you're not willing to like stock the store with extended sizes, can't figure out why you wouldn't do that. It's so stupid. But can we compromise and say everybody that takes the level 1 can get a t-shirt? No, that was also too difficult because the level 1 is for anybody except you.
That
It's this, like, it's hypocrisy. You can't tell people that this is for everybody and then not give them the same thing that you're giving everyone else. To me, it just,
but what is it? It's
why would you not want everybody out there saying I took the level 1?
But this is fun because there's this saying they've been saying, there's a lot of
Jesus.
podcasts that have been saying it all week, but
What?
what's the Greg Glassman quote or whatever? CrossFit is for anybody, not for everybody.
Well, maybe that was the logic for them. I don't know.
That, I mean, literally they've been preaching that for the last like 2 weeks. That CrossFit it'll weed out the people that can't hang or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was CrossFit.
And I agree with that. CrossFit is for,
yeah, I get it. I understand it.
it's for anyone, not everyone. Meaning some people will come in and
Right. Okay.
it won't be
That
their
way.
thing, is all it means. Like,
Yeah.
some people are going to come in and just say, you know what, I don't like CrossFit. I would rather go swim and do pickleball. Oh,
Right.
okay.
That's fine. Also fine.
Yeah.
Also, if you take that statement the wrong way and use it in a different way,
Like,
you could take it any way you want. I mean, the same way that
like,
you could take
how else would you take it?
CrossFit's not for larger bodies. Like, you can go down any road you want to. It's for everyone, but not for you. It's for anyone, not for you. You can twist anything,
I
it's
don't
easy to
believe in my
do.
heart of hearts that has ever been the intent. I have to believe the best and say, I wouldn't believe that if somebody said that to me. I do believe that they want everyone to be healthy and to live, you know, the CrossFit lifestyle. I believe that. I've never felt like I didn't belong in CrossFit because I was a larger body.
I don't think that you don't belong in CrossFit. I think I personally believe it's for everybody, and I think it can save anybody. It saved
Totally.
me.
Then if anybody said that, I call them a liar, because we all know that's to be completely untrue. I do, however, believe that I was fine so long as I was a member. As soon as I crossed that threshold, at least for me, as soon as I crossed that threshold and said, I want to coach, that's when my life totally changed. It's like, okay, it was fine so long as you were coming into CrossFit and you were, you know, working on yourself. But now you're wanting to coach, and now you're setting the example.
You wanted too much.
I don't know.
Listen,
but it was different. It was different because before I was just, you know.
I don't think the message of CrossFit is wrong. I think it's an amazing message and an amazing methodology. But
Totally.
Crappy people are crappy people. And there's crappy people everywhere.
Totally agree.
In every section, in every space. And if you have, they're just weeding it out now. They were talking about weeding it out with the affiliate fees going up. They're going to weed out the crappy gyms as compared to the gyms that make the most money in their eyes. whatever, blah, blah, blah. But there's crappy people in every genre. And do I think that the message sent out by Greg and CrossFit initially is amazing? Yes. Do I think crappy people have control of it and there are crappy people in control of it now? Yes. I think the message is a little bit different. I've personally like watched it kind of change in the
Mhm.
last 6 to 8 months. Just slowly, it just kind of permeated into weirdness.
Mhm.
I would never say it, and I don't, but I feel like they have taken that saying that CrossFit is for everyone or for anyone, not for everyone, and changed it a bit. It feels like that to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It does.
That's a bummer. I don't I don't think it feels any different for me
Well,
that
you're a
way.
happy, shiny person. I'm not always a happy, shiny person. You're just a very
That's
happy,
totally
shiny.
not true.
It is. You are. You're a very happy, shiny person. You have Shel Silverstein in your house. You're a
I
happy, shiny person.
That's true. That's true.
So
Uh I still believe the very best. I still want to believe the very best of intentions. But I think,
have they showed you that all the time?
I mean, honestly, I don't care what I mean, maybe there was a time when I did, but I don't give a shit what HQ does. They're going to do whatever they do. It doesn't really I don't really know. I think if the affiliates got together on this, I think that they would probably agree. Well, how much does whatever HQ is doing really affect the affiliate though? It,
I mean, other than the
the
only
better
thing that
part of it, nothing.
the what so what? Help me understand this.
Yeah.
They're paying for the name CrossFit, right? That's the
Yeah.
affiliate. They're paying to be able to say they're CrossFit. They can be CrossFit on Google.
Yep.
If you search CrossFit gym near me, it makes
Mhm.
sure that they pop up immediately. That's what they get. Basically, that's what all I can see that they get. I don't know what else they get.
But but that was very clear. I'm just being objective. This part of it was very clear when every single one of them signed their affiliate agreements. That was all they were going to get. That's all they've ever gotten. Now, I would say lately, they've added all these bonuses like the playbook and the affiliate area where you can get, exclusive deals and
Oh, okay.
all that great
So there's
stuff.
some extra little perks now for this.
No, they're not really. I mean, it's there. There's the affiliate programming. I personally like CAP. I think it's great. So it does come with that. But I mean, was there really any misunderstanding about what they were getting when they signed on? I mean,
No,
$3,000
no,
for
no.
that was,
I'm just bringing that up. Yes, and it
yeah,
was worth it. I feel like it was worth it if you
totally.
could when people were like, "Hey, they're on vacation." They're like, "Hey, where's a CrossFit near me? Hey, this
Yeah.
CrossFit is," like, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Totally worth it. Now, without like the feeling of I'm a CrossFit gym. I'm like there's that feeling of community, that feeling of I belong, that feeling of like I'm a part of something amazing is wavering a tad. It's definitely wavering. And
I
like
think some of that has just been the natural instability of all of the changes that have
oh, of the
happened
country?
in the
Yeah.
games. It's well, not just the country, but just the changes to the games, the changes to the schedule, the changes to the
Oh yeah,
leadership,
the
changes to
instability
the
since
messages
like
I mean, all of it.
2018. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
All of it.
can see that.
ownership multiple times, and then this person's out. Oh, we lied. We're just kidding. We're bringing you back in. And
Yeah.
there's been a lot of that.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's
I could see that,
confusing.
but they've done nothing to bring stability to it. They just keep making it unstable. They just keep making it there's it's not like they brought in a group in like 2022 and we're like, here we go. This is
Yeah.
our group. We're rolling this way. This is how it's gonna go. These are like there's still no communication whatsoever. And I feel like it's very much making it tough for everybody to kind of understand what's happening, which is why I'm saying I don't
Mhm.
know if that statement means anything anymore. The CrossFit is for anyone, not for everyone. I don't feel like that statement is coming from the best of intentions anymore.
You don't think?
I don't.
How do you feel like it's meant now?
I feel like it's meant for uh the the games athletes. I feel like it's meant for, the quarterfinal athletes. I don't feel like it's meant for mom and pops anymore. It feels like it's meant for the training camps. It feels like it's meant for where the next, it doesn't like if this makes sense, like Sevon's affiliate series
Yeah.
doesn't feel like an affiliate series anymore. It feels like,
Really?
yeah,
Hmm.
that's, yeah,
It's interesting to hear you say that.
I know it sucks. It hurts.
Hmm.
It does. Cause I found it on such my wife and I both, we found it on such a level of love and community and friendship. And we were all friends and we all, you did all the things. You went on the turkey trots. Did crap you didn't want to do, but you did it because you were doing it with your friends.
I mean,
Like,
is that just I'm trying to figure out, like, is that just CrossFit, or is some of this a spillover on what's just happened to our society over the last couple years? And so it's all spilling together.
it
Like,
can be. It can be a product of that,
you
and
know what I
that's
mean?
why it's kind of happening. Yeah.
Like, during COVID, like, just just the last I mean, just over, like, the last election cycle and COVID, and I mean, you're talking about some very polarizing opinions. I mean, you were either here or you were there. Very hard to be somewhat in the middle. People expected you to take sides. This is on every level.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So I'm
yeah,
just
and
saying,
then if you didn't take whatever side, you were basically shunned for the rest of your life, like, canceled.
right.
Yep.
So my question to you is, are you saying that because it feels CrossFit's like that? Because I'm just trying to be objective since we're
No,
talking about it.
this is what we do.
Yeah. So I could listen to one of his affiliate series podcasts and be like, man, that's awesome. That's so cool. Like, one, I love supporting other affiliates. And hey, if I'm ever in that area, now
I'll
I know
drop
that
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Has that changed? How would it have been different before?
I think it's the culture of what's happening now that's weird for me. I like the affiliate series for that reason, because that still feels like community. That still feels
Hmm.
like he's showing the actual community. The rest of it just feels like
When you say
it's
the rest of it, what do you mean?
I guess those hmm, there are just some places where it feels like if you go in there, it's literally just for competition. If you're
But
not
but
do
here's the thing, Garrett. Again, if we go back to the beauty and curse of CrossFit, not every gym. It's the same thing that we, for instance, tell affiliates when we're out doing the seminar. Not every CrossFit gym needs to have the desire to work with larger bodied athletes. You are going to come across gyms that just don't want to. And you know what? It's okay. They don't have to. That's the great thing about it, is that they don't have to. All we ask is that, hey, if you know that when somebody comes in, don't bullshit anybody. If this isn't your thing, if it's not in your wheelhouse, have referrals in your back pocket where you can send them and say, you know what, I think this would be a better culture fit for you. I think you're going to enjoy it here better. Tell them why. What is wrong with being upfront and honest with people and say, you know what, this is our vibe here. This is who we really like to cater to. And this is our jam.
So you don't think that goes against the message?
I don't. I don't. Because nothing about that message says that every box has to have the exact same clientele. I'm not going to have, okay, so if I took this in reverse, somebody came into my box that was clearly a games competitor, and they're like, hey, I want to join Scaled Nation. One, I would feel uncomfortable having that person join my box because, one, I think there would be an intimidation factor for me, just because I'm not sure it would be the right culture fit. There's a lot of things that happen in our ethos with Scaled Nation. I think part of some of the reasons why we are Scaled Nation is because that is all some of us will ever be. It's not because we don't want it. It's not because we're lazy. It's because I have two fucked up knees. You know, like there's certain things that I am never going to be able to do. And so, you know, being scaled is something I embrace because that is all I will ever be. And I'm okay with that. A games competitor can come into Scaled Nation and maybe they aren't going to feel comfortable. Sorry, I had an itch in my ear.
No, I do it all the time. I play with my headphones all the time.
I'm like, my hair feels like it's crawling in my earpiece. I'm trying to articulate this the best way I can.
No, I get what you're saying.
Somebody could come in and say, hey, you know, I want to compete. I don't know, me as the kind of coaching style that I have would be the best person for them if that's what they needed. You're talking about a competitive atmosphere is completely different. I left a box that I went to for a while. Not because the community wasn't amazing. It wasn't because the coaches were not amazing. It was because that competitive atmosphere was way more than what I needed for me. There was, you know, like I wanted to be around people that were like me. You mean to tell me with 13,000 CrossFit boxes that every single one needs to have the same demographics? They don't.
Yeah, okay. I get that. I can go with you down that road.
You know what I mean? Like, why would we not like?
No, I think that's the reason why why CrossFit's not a franchise, right? So
It's one of the beautiful things about CrossFit not being a franchise.
Right.
We don't all have to be the same.
Everybody owns their own business. For me, it's the areas that don't have a lot of boxes. And what if the only box that is in your general area that you could get to is a competitive box and you're just trying to be healthy?
Here's the thing. There's still some personal responsibility with that. Somebody could come in a totally competitive atmosphere and do amazing. It doesn't mean, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that they can't come and do their workouts and be in that atmosphere. There's still going to be a choice for them.
Right.
It does suck when you get into smaller areas, you know, like Kim, she tells me all the time, you know, like in the area that she's out in Ohio, it's like, well, if somebody doesn't go to our box, there's only like one or two other options, and that's it in this whole area. Whereas somebody like me, you know, I have 38 options within 15 minutes.
Yeah. See, yeah. No, we don't have that either.
So it, like, for me, like,
yeah,
it's super easy to jump around and find the right people, you know?
No, I get it. I'm not, no, I'm just pushing a little bit. I want to kind of know. There's the landscape's changing. It's getting there's a little drama out there this week. There's a little, and I kind of want to.
Is the CrossFit landscape changing, or are people changing? Because CrossFit to me has been the one thing that hasn't changed. The methodology doesn't change.
No.
People change.
Yes.
I'm going to come in and do my zone and do my workout. That part doesn't change. People, community, dynamics, friends. That's the kind of shit that changes.
Yeah. Do you think that I've always wanted to ask this too, and I've never gotten to ask this too. Do you think that dynamic of CrossFit where your box is friends, right? Like your coaches love you, they care about you, they know about your life.
Yeah.
The people that you work, whatever, most people have, like I was at 8 a.m.er for a long time, and then I was a 5 a.m.er for a long time. And then so like those people that I would work out with, like they were my people. We were Instagram friends, we were Facebook friends, we DM'd each other, hey, why weren't you at classes? Like what's happening? Run later, pizza later, whatever.
Okay.
Do you think that plays a part into why kind of CrossFit can be so complicated as opposed to a Globo gym? Like there's real relationships that form inside a CrossFit gym.
I mean, here's the thing. Do I think that that's unique to CrossFit? No.
I do.
I don't.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Really? Out of like Planet
No, I don't, because what I'm saying is I don't think let me back up. I don't think it's unique to gyms that have group style fitness where you're around the same.
What other was there?
I mean, we actually have a lot of boxes here in the Twin Cities that are not CrossFit affiliates that run just like a CrossFit affiliate.
Okay, but I don't count
I'm
that.
saying
I'm talking about like
fitness.
yoga. I'm talking about like.
Well, I know some yoga studios where everybody's family, because you're with the same people all the time.
All right, okay, fine. I'll give you yoga, but like
I think that what's not similar is the global type of gyms where it's open 24/7. You might go at 5. You're not seeing the same people. It's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of members.
Because you fight with family, right? Like you have little tips with family. And I wonder if that kind of plays a little bit of a part when it comes to that. If you're having a tough time,
no doubt about it,
right?
Totally.
Come on now.
I mean,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I love the family aspect of CrossFit. Is probably my favorite thing. You talk about it all the time, right? You want to go work out with your friends.
Of course.
But listen, if I was going to a partner workout and expecting you to be my partner, and then you partnered with some new person that like now I'm mad. If you didn't, you know what I mean? Like there's things
now you're mad.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like you didn't. There's dynamics that happen within family style gyms that don't happen in Globo gyms, girl. Come on.
I would agree, but that's just the nature of how the gyms are set up. You're talking about you've got 5, 6, 7 class times, and whatever class time you go to, normally that's going to be around your same time. Now, whether you go to the 4 or the 5, you're going to be an afternoon person. Most of the time, the 5 a.m.ers aren't going to the 6 p.m. unless they woke up late.
That's what I'm saying. But if you get in a little tiff with some newbie that comes into your 5 a.m. and then like the dynamics change a little bit in whatever group you're in, like that.
Right, but I think that you're answering your own question. I think you're answering your own question. CrossFit didn't change. People dynamics.
No, that's what I'm saying. I absolutely agree with you.
Okay.
I don't think CrossFit changes, but I do think that the way that CrossFit is set up with that type of
totally.
Because then you get mad. You're mad at the person in the 5 a.m. So then you start going to the 4 p.m. Then you get in the 4 p.m. and someone doesn't like you in the 4 p.m. and now you're messing up the group dynamic in the 4. Like it's a whole thing. It does. It becomes a whole thing. Look, she's like, I don't want to think about this, but
I'm just like, that's a lot of drama.
Well, you listen, you're used to like the CrossFit gyms that have been together for like ever. I'm used to the CrossFit gyms that
No,
just started.
I've seen that. Trust me, I've seen a little bit of everything over the last couple years. I've seen a little bit of everything.
I mean, just yeah, like, but nobody wants to talk about that too. You don't want to talk about the coach that dated the student.
I had a few of those.
Stuff happens, man.
That's what I'm saying. This is just people, though. Like
It's like
this would literally happen in any. This would
family
literally happen in
Thanksgivings.
any gym. Like I don't think this is unique to CrossFit. I think any type of gym that has group style fitness where you're seeing the same people, you're gonna get stuff.
I just don't think that there's any group type fitness models out there that make the type of relationships that CrossFit does, because you suffer together. You're not suffering in anything else. You didn't help somebody make it through Murph. You didn't finish Murph, go back,
Well,
help somebody finish the mile. You know what I mean? Like there's a
you
type of
are developing those relationships, and you are developing all those things that you're talking about. So when something is amiss, you would feel it way faster and way quicker than you would if you went to Planet Fitness, of course.
or yoga. I don't care if your stretch hurts. Like, I don't. If you went into a reverse whatever, I don't care if that, like, I don't. It's fine. But I do not stretch.
She's like,
She's talking from the background, annoying. You know your mic's on, right?
Oh, hi.
But like if I'm doing, whatever Helen or whatever thing that I suck the most at, and you're over here like helping me finish that workout, or you're cheering for me, or you're like, that bond is just you're going to battle. It's battle buddies, man.
I agree.
And I think that kind of dynamic and that kind of bond, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I am saying that there's something different to it that
I think I look at it more like, and I don't know if this is right or wrong or whatever, it's just my own perspective, but I think a lot of this just has to do with the dynamics of people and our world, our society, the shit that we went through with COVID and all the the cancel culture, all of it. It changed people.
Of course.
Yep.
So
when we talk about like it just feels different, well, it is. People are different. I don't have all the same friends that I had before COVID.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't think any of us do.
Yep.
So when your world is different, that means everybody in your world, which includes your gym family, which includes all of those people, have also changed. Not just us. So maybe that's why things can feel different, because they are. CrossFit is the one thing that has remained the same, though. Methodology hasn't changed.
All right, fine. I will. Fine. I wasn't arguing with you on that point anyway. I definitely, no, that has not changed.
It's like a tree. The roots have stayed the same, but the leaves are different colors.
There you go. Great analogy.
Go ahead and lean into the mic when you say that.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah, I would agree with that totally. I'm not.
Or maybe I was missing what you were saying. But go ahead, Colleen. Tell them. That was a great analogy. Go ahead and
say it again. Go ahead.
Oh, here, I guess I should show myself.
Yeah, go ahead. Pull. Yeah, there you go.
Hi. I said it's kind of like a tree. CrossFit's methodology is the roots and the trunk, but the leaves are constantly changing. And I think that we're just feeling that, like the seasons are constantly changing, and making that point of there's no consistency. There's no form of, I almost wonder if it's a lack of security. Like we don't feel safe anymore. CrossFit doesn't feel safe anymore because it's constantly changing. And the people that are coming into the space, I don't think that change is bad. I think that we can all grow and we can all change. But the people that are coming into change, maybe the delivery, the messages just feel very unsafe and unsecure because they're constantly changing. You know, I mean, the example I can think of is for our son. You know, when he was in preschool, one of the things was he was having a hard time regulating himself and being able to be cooperative, I guess you could say. But when you have constantly changing his teachers and you're constantly changing what he needs, the expectations and this, that, whatever, he couldn't regulate himself. Of course, he couldn't sit in a chair like he was supposed to. Of course, he couldn't follow directions because you have 6 different people in a matter of 4 months telling him to do something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just listening to you guys, and I mean, I haven't dove into all of the specifics that you guys have, but it almost just feels like there's no stability in CrossFit. So maybe that's what's changing. It can't
regulate itself.
Yeah, it's not the methodology of CrossFit. It's not the foundations of CrossFit that we all love, and that's where the security is. And that's where the fight is. That's why everybody is so vocal about CrossFit. The true believers of CrossFit, the true lovers of CrossFit, is because that's what we're fighting for, the stability of the methodology. But it's like everybody's kind of throwing everything else in the air and we're trying to catch it and put it back together.
That makes sense.
I would agree with that.
I think there could be some validity there. You know, it's the same things, you know, like they say on the game side, you know, nothing feels the same. We're going to do it this way, and then we're going to do it this way, and then we're going to start these dates, and we're going to do here, and now I could totally see that. It's too much.
Yeah.
And when there's too much change.
I think that by bringing Dave back, I think was the first attempt to try to bring the stability back. But unfortunately, him coming back now into a chaotic CrossFit, his stability isn't felt as much, because as much as he had the power and control in a lot of ways before he left or before he was fired or whatever, he can't really come back into that same space because that space doesn't exist for him anymore. It's not his space alone anymore. He has to kind of fall into the pieces of where everybody else in CrossFit is at.
Hey, Athena, what do you think about his weekend review? I kind of think that's the only thing that I think that and Greg going on Sev's show every week is kind of the only thing that's making people not panic right now. And I'm fine with that hot take. I will post that hot take, but
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think
bringing Dave back is like the glimpse of stability. You know, Sevon does it on his own public.
Well.
Okay.
Yes and no. And I say that because you guys, for instance, have very different interests than I do. Meaning, I didn't follow any of the game stuff. I never did. Never followed any of that shit. I could have cared less.
Yeah,
it's not that I don't. No, it's not that I don't like the games. You know, like
I heard.
No, are you? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Athena.
It's not that I didn't like the, you know, it's just, yes, I'll go to the games. Yes, it was fun. I'll go to the games every year, and it was fun to go see people. And yes, I'll go see the athlete. But I mean, that was my involvement. I couldn't tell you half of the elite athletes. Garrett laughs all the time because she's like, do you know who this person is? I'm like, no. Like, should I know who this? It just wasn't in my wheelhouse. My vision of CrossFit was from like where my passions and where my interests were from the CrossFit health space. I was interested in like legislation. I was interested in like the legal stuff that Greg used to do, legislation, all of that stuff, all of the initiatives from CrossFit Health and the stuff that they were doing, you know, in the last couple of years. That was what I woke up and wanted to see every day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So our exposure. So now when we come back to like Dave, does Dave bring Athena stability? No, because I never followed Dave before.
Okay.
Like, no
No,
offense
Fair.
to
that's
Dave.
No,
a
that's
good
fair.
point. That's
Yep.
a really
But
good point, though.
Dave was involved, like when I started CrossFit and well into it. Now I know that he's part of EDU now, but I'll be honest with you, from my view, other than his week in review, what is he doing? I don't know. I have no clue what he does.
Good point. I
I
mean,
don't.
he tries to, he answers questions, but yeah, right. You don't actually know what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm not saying this. I mean, I adore Dave. I think he's great for the community. I don't have any issue with Dave whatsoever. But I don't know what he does on a day to day.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
That's fair.
Mhm.
I only said it because I just, for the affiliates and the affiliate owners that are
But again,
panicking.
I have to believe that there are tons and tons of people just like me that the day-to-day stuff about the CrossFit games, I think your average affiliate owner, your average affiliate member isn't following all that stuff.
How many of those do you think that there are, though? I would beg to push
How
back.
many people don't follow all the stuff that you guys follow? Like the ins and outs of like, this new athlete or this person or what's going on in the media space. I would say the majority don't follow that stuff. I think that you have like
The
this.
gyms themselves, like not interested, not
No,
even with the open and the.
I'm not saying the open. The open's different.
No,
That's
but
something that all of the gyms do at the same time.
no, of course. Yeah, but just with that itself, that for me when I first came in, like doing the open was like, "Oh my God, you're doing the same workouts that the athletes are doing?" Like, that was one of the
Well,
first
do
things that.
they anymore?
No, well, no. Well, I mean, not saying that it wasn't a scaled workout or, whatever, but still you feel like you're working out with the athletes.
Do I feel like, aside from the open, do I feel like the majority of like your average Joe Schmo affiliate owner, affiliate member, are they following all this stuff? No. Half of them don't even know who the HQ people are. Could care
Oh, that's
less.
fair. I don't know half
They
of
don't
it.
know who seminar staff are. They don't know. Yes, they probably know Dave's name. They probably know Nicole's name. Aside from that,
Okay.
would they know who this new guy is? No.
No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I mean,
No.
I can say once I became a coach,
But that's different.
but yeah, like I was able to kind of see both sides because I still am a huge fan of the sport. You know what I mean? Just from getting into it and our journey when we started Babe, and then us just continuing to follow it and loving the athletes and loving the hype of the elites. But also, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'll let you
No,
finish.
go.
No, no.
No, go.
Well, what I was going to say was there was something that we learned, some really interesting statistics that we learned when we were putting the seminar together. And one of the things that we had asked everyone, and we spent a lot of time trying to get to the bottom of, is how people come into CrossFit.
Mhm.
I firmly believe that CrossFit still believes that people come into CrossFit because of the games.
That's
And when we, like, oh, like this is why we have to keep up this whole big thing and blah, 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 because this is what leads people to CrossFit and da, 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 da. But the research that we did and our 800 people that we personally polled, all 800, and out of those 800 people, there was less than 7% that came in because they knew anything about the games or because they saw a documentary. I'm not saying that people don't come into CrossFit because of a documentary. They do.
Mhm.
I've heard of some that do. And that don't see it on ESPN and say, oh, wow. But that's not how it happened. it's so
Yeah.
that belief is so contrary to the data that we have.
Mhm.
The data that we have says they're coming in because maybe there was the games and their neighbor said, hey, I'm going to this thing. And she's like, no, I don't want to go there, blah, blah, blah. That sounds terrifying. And she's like, no, this is for everyone. You should come with me. Then they go to the games. Or they, it's somebody from their church or their neighbor or somebody that they met from their kids' youth soccer team. Or, this is how people are coming into CrossFit.
Yeah, I mean, we came into it because we were both sick of going to a typical Planet Fitness.
We're bored.
Yeah.
We were bored, and it
Absolutely
was
bored.
like, what can we do that's different? Because I was sick and tired of going to Planet Fitness, and she was too. And so we found it because our first coach was a really good friend of hers, and she was like, "Hey,
Right.
how can I get into CrossFit?" He's like, "Come to a fucking class." Great. Sure, we'll do it that way. But then what I'm saying is that once we got into the space of CrossFit, then we fell in love with
I think it evolves
too. But then becoming a coach, I really saw that separation, I guess you could say.
And
where
there is.
were a lot of my clients that had no idea
None
about the games. And when we would talk about the open, I would explain that it's a way to bring the entire community together. And they look at me and being kind of like, wait, what do you mean?
Okay, yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
you know what I'm saying? But like for us, it was more like, well, we're gonna come
She's not
together
wrong.
and we're gonna do it. But
My bad, I forgot.
I think that that those
I've been
interests.
so immersed. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I've been so
we
immersed.
come
Yeah,
into some of this stuff from such different perspectives, because even me being immersed in CrossFit now for as long as I have, has that interest changed? Not really. I mean, I do it. I get excited about it when game season is up, but other than that, I don't follow it. I'm not like, you're like, Garrett, she does it to me all the time. She's like, did you see that? And I'm like, see what? Did you hear this? No.
Yeah, I'm immersed.
Why?
I know. Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, you guys are right.
I'm not
forgot about
knocking
all
it. I
that.
think it's hilarious and I think it's awesome. But it's also a very good illustration of how different some of those interests are and where that's, again, right? Like the CrossFit community has tons of tentacles.
Yeah.
So when you say like, oh, things are changing, well, what do you mean by that, Garrett? Is somebody in the media space fighting with somebody else in the media space today? Well,
okay?
what
It's about
what does that have to do with?
It's changing. Whatever. It's about me. Whatever. Fine.
Is it changing for the average Joe?
Probably not. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, okay.
I think that people that are really close to it, that follow all of these really crazy things that happen within this ecosphere, perhaps. Yes.
But I mean, I do. The drinking.
I mean, that's just my take.
Okay, fine. I'll eat that one. That's good. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm always able to say when I'm wrong. You're right.
I mean,
fine.
I find a lot of humor in it personally.
It is. I get it. I'm a complete nerd and I'm immersed in everything. My wife's not so much. She's like half immersed in it, and really only because I run upstairs and say, hey, did you see this? The same way I'm like, hey, Athena, did you see this? But I just do it more to my wife because I know you don't care. But yeah, I get it. Like, no one's gonna know who freaking Don Fall is. If you don't watch certain things, you're not gonna know who the new.
I mean, do I think that the average? I mean, if I went to each one of the people in Scaled Nation and I asked them who Don Fall was, do I think that they would like?
And honestly, if you walk down the street, I wouldn't know who he was. I just know what his name is. Like, that's it.
That's it.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
Would you recognize him in Whole Foods? Probably not.
Absolutely not. No, there's a million tall blonde guys. It's fine. I would have no idea. It could be my kid at this point. He's like 6'6" at 6 years old. So yeah, I get it. Nope. That's fine. Both of you are right. Whatever. I'll take the L.
Colleagues.
I'm okay with the L. That's fine. I got you. No, is it good? It's gonna be. It's gonna be. I mean,
Well, babe, let me ask you this. Do you feel like it's changing? And you guys obviously know and have more details or whatever, insight, whatever you want to say. Do you feel like that CrossFit is changing because people are asking for more? Because so Athena said,
no, I kind of think they're asking for less. Like, hey, stop messing with us.
but
Oh,
I mean, like,
but that would be
take the contract, for instance. The affiliate contract, like she said, was black and white. This is literally what you're getting. You're getting you get to put CrossFit on your door. But now a lot of the conversations that I hear, people are like, we need to be doing more for affiliates. We need to be doing more for affiliates.
I mean,
the affiliate. So
I hate saying this, but what's happening right now is a direct response. Like the more you demand, they're gonna start charging more.
That's more my point.
Like
Changes
personally, I
are
believe
happening because
every
people
single
are
one of these.
asking for more.
That's right.
And
It's
when you
changing
tack
because
on more stuff, you have to charge more stuff.
that's it.
You want someone to write your programming for you. You want someone to be available.
These changes are a product of the community. This,
Of the demands from the
unfortunately, I
community.
believe was their decision.
Yeah, the demands from the community. The affiliates are like, I want more stuff.
ouch, hot take.
CrossFit's like, okay, here's
Ooh,
more
let's
stuff.
get our own around the horn.
I mean,
But
be
you have-
careful what you ask for. This is a direct reflection of everything that they're demanding. Oh, CrossFit's not doing enough. CrossFit's not doing enough. Well, now they're giving more, and now they're going to be demanding more, and then they're charging more. And yet these same people will turn around and say, what? I'm like, hey, you know what? This was all you guys. This is all you guys.
Because each CrossFit box, the beauty of a CrossFit box is that it's individualized for the person that is running it. That's why I always feel that it doesn't fall to CrossFit. It's not HQ's responsibility. It literally trickles down to the specific boxes. How is that box run? What is your expectation of your coaches? Who do you want to support?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
You know, and that for me was always something like, as a coach perspective, when I was a coach, a CrossFit coach, that I was like, this is how I take care of my people. It's my responsibility to do this. This is what's important. This is what I value. It wasn't CrossFit telling me to do that. You go to the L1 and you're literally learning the methodology of CrossFit. You're not learning how to be a coach.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Let me ask you this, Athena. What do you think about that? Now you're gonna have to be at L2.
I'm a huge fan of the educational requirement. Yeah, I always have been.
Is there a huge difference between the L1 and the L2? Because I'm only an L1.
The L2 is different. I mean, different in that the level 1, you're going and you're learning how to do the movements. You're learning how to do the movements properly, right? Whereas at the level 2, it's the same. You're talking about the foundational movements of CrossFit, right? Instead, now you're learning how to coach those movements, and not just coaching. You're learning how to coach other people, and then you're getting, I don't want to say graded, but yeah, you're getting evaluated on how well you are able to articulate your ability to coach others through those movements.
That's what makes a good CrossFit box.
Right. And so it's true. The educational side, I'm stoked about. This is part of, I believe, one of the reasons that the Working with Larger Bodies course exists, because there's nothing wrong with the level 1, but it's not a coaching course.
It's not.
We make it a minimum. There has to be a minimum standard, but nobody learns how to be a coach from the level 1. And yet we wonder why the CrossFit community needs to level up the coaching game. Well, yeah, they do, because majority of people aren't getting that. And I don't remember what the statistics were, but I thought it was something like, and I don't want to mess this up, the people that I don't remember if it was a level 2 or higher or a level 3 or higher. It's like 7%. It's a very, very tiny fraction of once they get that, they will ever level up beyond that. And the percentage is so small, it's embarrassing. So I'm not sure how I feel about the raised affiliate fees, but I definitely, I mean, I was not one of those affiliates that was like, I need more. I don't want anything from CrossFit HQ per se. It was more like the education needed to be there.
It needed to be, you needed to be able to get the education. It wasn't so much that you needed HQ to like pay for it, or
No,
you just wanted it to be available to you.
there should be an education requirement. Yes. And and maybe that's what this is now, is requiring coaches to level up. So do I think that that's awesome? I do. How they roll that out, I don't know. If you're talking about taking the affiliate fees from $300 to $4,500 for, your smaller average box, and then you're saying, is it just the owner that has to get the level 2, or is it?
I'm not sure, but I think the owner has to get it. I'm not sure if all the coaches have to get it.
You're still talking thousands of extra dollars that might not be budgeted. So I suppose how that gets rolled out.
However, I did hear that like you can pay the $4,500 monthly,
Yeah,
I guess, and there's no like interest on it.
Sure.
So like if you did the $3,000 monthly, there was interest on that. They made an extra, I don't know how much, but they made extra. But on the $4,500, if you want to pay it monthly, you can pay it monthly, and there's no interest on it.
Right.
So, I mean, they did something. Good job. But
yeah, I would never criticize the educational component.
Yeah, I thought I know how hard it is. I've heard how hard it is for some people to go ahead and do that, and how people have tried multiple times to get their L2 and they couldn't. And I just thought from the fact
they couldn't, why?
They just didn't pass. Like it was just.
How do you not pass?
I don't know. I'm not an L1 or L2. I just know people who have gone to get the L2 and they couldn't do it.
I mean,
is the test as could be multiple choice answers as the first one? All I can say is that the way that they worded the first,
the test is an open book take home.
It was like it could be 3 out of the 4 answers, but you had to pick. It was either you had to pick the best answer or the worst answer or something like that. Some of them were just so confusing.
The level 2 is a take home, like you do it at home. You could do it at home with all your notes test.
Oh.
The level 2 is about your time on the floor, and like at the end of the class, you're basically going to get like the nod from your.
So wait, if you suck on the floor,
you don't
pause.
Pass.
You don't pass?
I don't know if it was, if when we started the level 2, I don't know if it was proposed like that. I mean, there was one person in my class, but it was a class of 30. It was like 25 people in my class. It was big. But there was one person that was going to have to come back and take the level 2 again. And I don't know what that conversation sounded like, but they said that she was not able to move forward and she'd have to come back and do it again. Because you still have to show your ability to be able to coach. And you have to be willing to, just like when you correct, right? Can you also take feedback? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so when a flow master is giving you feedback, or one of the coaches, seminar staff is giving you feedback, can you take that
as feedback? And
you also have to be coachable.
You also have to be coachable, right? So it's more like that. But I would have to say that, I mean, I don't know what it's like for any other class, but there was only 1 out of 25 or 30 at mine. The test itself is a take home. So, I mean, I don't know how you fail it. So if you're delaying getting your level 2, because now maybe you're mixing up the level 3 and the level 2, maybe.
Nope.
Level 1, level 2.
Not mixing anything at all.
I think
At
that
all.
you've made it out to be much harder than it really is.
Nope, I'm the only mixed thing in this room right
Yep.
now. There's
Probably.
not. Nope. That's it.
I mean, that's true.
I think that either one of you could go and take your level 2 and do just fine.
I know my wife can.
There you go.
I don't know. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. I don't know if I'll ever coach CrossFit again, but
But you probably like the level 2. You don't have to go do it.
Yeah.
I always say that too. Like from what I hear, just going to do the level 1 just in itself, just for the experience and the knowledge and the
that's what I will
everybody
say.
I've ever talked to who's taken a level 1 has done nothing but gloat about it.
It was
maybe-
awesome. And the same thing with the level 2.
So maybe if I want to fall back in love with CrossFit, I guess I should go take the level 2 and remind myself why
Hey,
I used
Ray,
to love it so much.
I'm sorry. I love you, Athena. I would talk to you forever, but this is like the one weekend where I have to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning. But real quick, did you, babe, where did you went to Garden City? Who was your? I know we've talked about
Coach
this.
Jen and her
Jennifer Hunter Marshall.
Yes.
You're coming here for that, aren't you? Aren't you?
I'm having it at her gym.
Yes.
When are you coming?
We'll be there at the end of June. I just don't have it on the calendar yet.
Okay.
We just have to solidify what. I don't know if it's the last or the second to the last weekend of June, but we'll be doing it at Garden City at the end of June. And she's amazing.
Coach, she's amazing.
She's just been.
Her and her husband are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, she's my CrossFit superhero.
How long is the seminar? Both days? 2 days?
Just one.
Just one day.
It's a busy day though.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's a busy.
Babe, are you trying to go right now? My wife's trying to go right now.
How much is the seminar?
What? She doesn't say prices out loud on.
It's $6.99. No, I'm not embarrassed. It's $6.99.
Okay, good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Probably should be higher, but we can talk about that another day. Deserve more.
We have that option, or you can do the online. I think we do about 1 to 2 a year. We'll offer the online Zoom, and I would say you get about 95% of what you would have in person.
Yeah.
We don't omit the activity. We have to talk people through it versus like them getting to actually experience it. So that's what's a little bit different. But other than that, the curriculum is exactly the same.
Cool.
You're definitely gonna have to text me when you're out here. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be hearing from you before that.
I'm going to talk to you.
We'll be talking tomorrow. What the hell?
Yeah, I was about to say no, but just don't. I mean, I have all your stuff, but yeah, when you come out here, it's gonna be summertime. It's gonna be amazing. You gotta come hang out.
It'll be good weather.
Yeah,
we should do something fun that weekend.
Yes, absolutely.
It'll be awesome.
That was fun.
Au revoir. Have an awesome night. Well, thanks for having me again. It's always fun to come shoot the shit.
Yeah, I always love it. And I always love being wrong and getting corrected. So that's my thing.
It's not wrong. No.
That's my shtick. It's all good. I got it.
And I feel like with every podcast, she's going to start to talk a little bit more shit each time.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. We'll get there to where she's like, well, listen.
You'll make me a whole.
How it really feels.
You'll make me a whole person at some point. It's fine.
All right. Well, you two have fun. Thanks for having me as always.
Thank you, Athena. We love you.
Bye.
Bye. Love that lady. She's amazing.
I'm not leaving. Oh, still here.
Yep.
That was a good conversation. It's a long conversation.
Yeah. There's just things that you kind of got to talk about that you're not comfortable talking about, and screw it. I won't talk about it.
There you go.
But it was a good time. Love you. Thanks for popping in when you got home.
You're welcome.
And like being a creeper ghost in the backstage with your microphone
that my mic was on.
You were like chewing pretzels and shit. And I was
bad.
like,
I was so hungry.
No, I know. I love you.
I thought you wanted some. I tried to pass you.
Yeah, I know.
So you're like, no. And then this damn dog wouldn't fucking sit down.
I know. When now he's cuddling a blanket. Whatever. Fine.
He's fine.
All right. That was good. That was fun. Impromptu. Good times. All right. Love you. Deuces.